Welcome to episode 1 of Pitchside with me, Harry and Tony, a fortnightly recap of football in Latvia, Lithuania and Estonia. In this new edition of the podcast, me and Tony are going to be talking all things Baltic football. Tony, let's start in Lithuania. The Lithuanian Super Cup happened recently. It was a historic win for Kauno Žalgiris. They beat FK Panevėžys 1-0 to claim the title for the first time in their history. Latvian forward Davis Ikanikis scored the only goal of the game, which proved decisive. So after winning their first Toplyga last season, Kauno Žalgiris now had their first Super Cup, and this was their first appearance in the competition. The only major domestic honour still missing from their cabinet is a Lithuanian Cup. Tony, are we seeing a club building something very sustainable here?
I think so. I mean, the last 5 or 6 years they've finished in the top 3 of the Lithuanian league, apart from 1 year. They have a really, really nice stadium. They've got a decent fan base. I think they've got the highest average attendance in the whole league. In my opinion, they've got the best squad as well. They've got the best players, the best strength and depth. I think the club is growing, it's developing. I think it's got all the hallmarks of being successful for the near future. And I don't see why it can't be sustained. I think they're going to be around for at least the next few years and be prominent and play a big part. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. Yeah. However, the game was marred by an incident, as the game didn't end without controversy. Immediately after the final whistle, the Žalgiris supporters celebrated with flares. However, the pyrotechnics caused fire and heavy smoke inside the arena, and spectators had to be evacuated. How damaging are scenes like that for the image of, would you say, Lithuanian football?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the game. I saw what happened afterwards. I don't think it's so damaging for the reputation for football in general. I mean, I saw it's been proven, I think, that it was purely accidental. And I think there was the sparks fell through the stand and it managed to ignite some kind of mats that were in storage. And I don't know, it obviously wasn't meant to happen. And, these kind of accidents will happen, but without the pun, it's not the brightest spark to light flares indoors, is it? But okay, no. I mean, we want to add this this feeling, this culture. We want to develop it in Baltic football, and we shouldn't really, be putting people off for trying to create this atmosphere. But people's safety is obviously paramount, and it's the most important. So. It's a little bit of common sense as well is probably due as well. Yeah,
well, you need an atmosphere at a football game, and obviously, like I said, lighting flares indoors is not ideal.
No,
no, it's not ideal.
Not recommended. Don't try this at home.
No, definitely not. So the Toplyga started last weekend ahead of both the other leagues. And in this new segment of the podcast, Tony and I have selected a result of the round and player of the round, highlighting the top performers across the 3 leagues. However, like I just said, we only have the Toplyga that has taken place this week. The result of the round goes to Dzyugas Telšiai as they beat Žalgiris Vilnius 3-2 away from home. It was a matchup between last season's 3rd and 7th place finishers. Žalgiris were heavy favourites and for long periods looked in control, but Dzyugas showed real character coming from behind and grabbing a late winner in stoppage time. The head coach of Žalgiris admitted his disappointment afterwards, saying it was a dramatic 3-2 defeat that spoiled what had largely been a controlled performance. For me, personally, Tony, that's the clear result of the round. One of Lithuania's biggest and most successful clubs beaten 3-2 at home on the opening day. How big could that be at the end of the season?
Look, I completely agree. It's the result of the round by far, But having said this, Telšiai, they always start the seasons very well. The last 2 or 3 years, after the first round of games, they're always like 4th or 5th, or they're more than comfortable. And I actually know the head coach there, Andreas, really really good guy. I actually came close to joining that club a couple of years ago, and I know they have good staff. I know that Andreas is very knowledgeable. He had a good career. He's a good coach, and his teams will make you work hard to get anything. And it's no surprise for me to see these kind of results. But still, having said that, it's a very good result. It's a really good result for them, and I'm very pleased for them.
Yeah, definitely. And my player of the round goes to a Jugas player, and it was Denis Bunchakov. The Ukrainian midfielder scored the opening goal, which helped set the tone for the comeback. He also won 8 of his 14 ground duels and completed 9 ball recoveries. As a midfielder who scored and influenced the game defensively, he stood out in round 1. Is there any disagreements?
No, mate, no. And I've seen this player a few times. He's played in Belgium, I think. He joined Telshai halfway through last season, I think, in the summer transfer window. He had some good games for them then. The goal he scored, the first goal, was really good. Arrived into the box, right moment, the right speed, took a great touch, calm finish. I think it went between defenders' legs, actually. But yeah, classic box-to-box midfielder. He's going to be important for them. And he's only young, 22, 23, I think. So if he keeps playing like this, then he's going to be a big player for them this season. And he'll probably get himself a move as well. I really like him. Old school Frank Lampard type player.
Yeah. Energetic, box-to-box goal scorer.
Yeah.
What more could you want? Toplyga's opening round continued, where FK Panavicis and Suduva Mariampol played out a 0-0 draw. Neither side managed to score and are both still searching for their first goals of the season. Hegelman, runners-up in each of the past 2 seasons, began a new era without long-time head coach Andrius Skurla, who has taken over Lithuania's under-21 national team. They were beaten 2-0 by FK Banga Gajgai, who repeated last season's opening day success. Goals came from Nigerian midfielder Aaron Olabogi and striker Ignas Venchkus. Newly promoted Transinvest surrendered a 2-goal lead to draw 2-2 with FA Šiauliai. Transinvest scored in the first minute through Lithuanian international Edvinas Givedanvinis and doubled their lead in the 58th minute, only to concede in the 60th and 62nd minutes. And finally, Kauno survived a scare as they came from 1 goal down to beat 10-man Riterai, scoring 2 goals in the final 10 minutes. Early days, obviously, we've just only had the first round, but who are your title favourites for this year in the Toplyga?
I think I mentioned a few moments ago about how good Kauno Žalgiris are.
Yeah.
In terms of what they're doing there, it's very promising for them. I think that I can't see anyone else. To be perfectly honest, I can't see anyone else. I mean, their goal difference last season was so big as well. It shows you that they, are very good throughout the season, and I think they're only going to get better. And I can't see anybody even getting so close to them. To be honest, I think.
Yeah.
If I was a better man, my €10 would be on them, I think.
Yeah, they're very much a dominant force.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So now let's turn to Latvia. And for the first time in Latvian football history, the Latvian Super Cup was played outside the country. The match took place in Antalya in Turkey, where reigning Versliga champions Riga FC faced Latvian cup holders FK Auda, repeating last season's cup final. The Latvian Football Federation moved the match due to unfavourable weather conditions in Latvia, and both clubs were already holding training camps in Antalya. Riga FC won 4-1. Brazilian forward Reginaldo Ramirez scored twice. This was the 4th Super Cup overall and the 3rd consecutive edition, with Riga becoming the first club to win it twice. Strong early signal from Riga, Tony, but what do you think of the decision to play it so far away in Turkey?
Yeah, I understand it from a logistical point of view. It makes perfect sense. Both teams are there. They're in the same place. But, I just can't get my head around the fact that if we want to grow football in the Baltics and we have these cup finals like the Super Cup, it should be a big thing and we should treat it like a big thing. Why is it being played on the other side of Europe? It's... I'm not too sure who made this decision or why they thought it was a good one, but I think the fact that you really want to get these games in front of home fans, you don't.
Yeah.
It's just a friendly game, basically. Which I understand the weather and I understand the logistics. I mean, look, it's been absolutely freezing cold in this part of the world for the last few weeks. I mean, honestly, really, really cold, and it makes sense. But in the bigger picture, I don't think it's worth it. Making such a big call like that.
Yeah,
it's not.
Especially
right.
So far away.
Yeah,
I know they're both in the same place, but it's
the argument will be no one would go anyway because it's too cold and it's not such an important game. But if that's how we treat it, people will never come to this game.
Yeah, because they'll just think the same for every game. They'll just think, well,
I just don't.
Disappointing.
I don't like the message it sends out.
Yeah, it's disappointing, definitely.
Yeah.
Riga also claimed a strong victory in the Livonia Cup as they beat Estonian champions Flora 3-0, with Tony Contreras scoring twice to ensure a victory for the Latvian champions. And after the Super Cup and the Livonia Cup, the Versliga season is just very much creeping up on us, with the opening fixtures set to take place in 5 days' time. Last season, runners-up RFS start at home to newcomers Auda United on March 6th. On March 7th, champions Riga FC travel to face FK Liepāja, who will be hoping to cause an upset after failing to do so last season. BFC Daugavpils host Grabina as they look to hopefully push for a European place. On March the 8th, FK Jelgava take on FK Tukums 2000 in a 6th versus 7th clash from last season. And the final game of the round sees your old team Auda host SK Supernova. How do you think they'll get on this season, your old team?
Yeah, it's difficult to say because a lot of change has happened. Obviously, all the coaches are different. The new staff didn't get off to the best of starts. I think they lost the last 4 league games of the season. Okay, they won the Latvian Cup, but they lost every other game, and a lot of players have left. And it just depends on how they recruit. I'm not too sure what kind of players they will sign. If it's a fit for the new coach, it's just so unpredictable. They could have either a really, really good season or they could really, really struggle this season. It just depends on the recruitment.
Yeah. Any league predictions? Any standouts or just?
I think Riga, like you just mentioned there, they won the Livonian Cup, and it was the most comfortable game I think I've seen for a while. To be honest, it had all the hallmarks of a really easy pre-season friendly, and it shouldn't really be like that. So close to the season and with a trophy at stake, they have such a big squad with such good strength in depth, with such good quality players. And they've managed to keep the majority of their players together, which is really important. They understand the coach's style, what he wants, his training methods, style of play. Everything is there. And I think they're going to have a really, really good season. I can't see even RFS getting close to Riga this year, to be honest. I really
No. Well, like I said, they've kept the core. Be able to keep the core of your squad, it can, well, that's it. It can just bolster your propositions for the season. That's what you need.
Yeah.
It's like you said, RFS. I mean, RFS obviously can compete, but I just don't think they can.
I think RFS will be better than last year for sure.
Yeah.
Because last year was a struggle for them because they had no break. They had the European campaign and it absolutely killed their season in terms of fitness. But I just think Riga will be even better than last year. I mean, Riga struggled. A lot of people forget in the first round of games, we were basically neck and neck. Auda were neck and neck with Riga for best part of half a season. It was only really the second half of the season that Riga got going and pushed on. And since then they haven't looked back. So I mean, I think if they start this year, which by all accounts it looks like they are, they beat Auda comfortably, they beat Flora comfortably. I think they're going to be very difficult to get close to be honest.
Yeah. Latvia in international football discovered their possible Nations League opponents with the campaign starting in September. But before that, they have 2 decisive matches against Gibraltar in March, which will determine whether they compete in League C or are relegated to League D. How crucial are these games to the Latvian international team?
I think they're must-win games. I can't see how anything else can be acceptable other than a win home and a win away, and obviously, staying in the group for next year's Nation League. So Gibraltar are ranked, I think, 50, 60 places in the FIFA rankings below Latvia. I mean, the gulf is still quite big in terms of the 2 nations. Okay, I mean, there's no easy game in international football anymore, and the gap is always getting tighter and closer. But still, they have a lot more quality, and I think it will be a lot more difficult than what it is on paper. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think they should go there and win, maybe a tight game, and in Latvia, win by a couple of goals. I can't see anything else. I don't think anything else would be acceptable, to be honest.
No. Yeah, it should definitely be a win. Especially, I know Gibraltar classed as your minnow teams like your Andorras, and they should be able to compete in League C. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Moving into Estonia, and Nome Kalju lifted the Estonian Super Cup after defeating reigning league champions Tallinna FC Flora 3-1 at Pied Football Hall. A Matthias Manilan hat-trick proved decisive in a high-intensity final that swung firmly in Kalju's favour after a second red card for Flora. And then the Estonian Premium Liga starts in 6 days. Last season's champions FC Flora host promoted Nome United, who return after breaking multiple records in the Esi Liga. Also on March 7th, Pied Linnamiskon travelled to Pärnu, and later that day, Narva face Haju. The opening round concludes on the 8th as the title challengers Levadia face Kuressaare at home and Kalju travel to face Tammeka. What are your early predictions for this season, for this one?
Yeah, I mean, you said Nom broke all kinds of records last year to get promoted. But in my opinion, across the Baltics, the gap between the first tier and the second tier is really, really big, and it doesn't really matter kind of what records you break in that second tier. I think to come up to the first tier is going to be very, very difficult for them. Very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna struggle. I think it's going to be quite similar to last year. They had the top 4 clubs almost in like a mini league of their own, and it was quite close, quite competitive. It was almost like a mini league in a league, and I think it's going to be quite similar this year. But I will stick my neck out and say Kalju will win the league this year because they have many Estonian players, a very good core of Estonian players, quite a young team. They've been together for a while as well. And they've got some decent foreign players as well. They've got a Senegalese centre-back called Tambadou or something.
Yeah.
He's also played in Belgium in the second tier. Very young player, very, 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 very good attributes for a centre-back, comfortable with the ball, strong, good in the air, quick, strong. So they have, and obviously you just said there, Malanen, was it? Malanen? He scored a hat-trick.
Hat-trick, yeah.
And they blasted Flora. I think they were winning 2-0 in the first 10 minutes. So, and I don't know. I just think it's going to be their year this year. There's my 10 euros in Estonia. Yeah,
well, it's a competitive league. Well, top 4.
Yeah, I think it's probably the most competitive.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
In the Baltics, yeah,
definitely. The Estonian international team were drawn in Nations League C alongside Iceland, Bulgaria and the Luxembourg Malta playoff winner. FIFA has also confirmed Estonia will compete in the FIFA Series 2026 tournament in Rwanda next month, opening up against Kenya. How do you see the Estonian national team progressing this year?
Well, first I'll start with this, in this international break in March, this game against Kenya. I mean, how interesting is that?
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
different continent, different type of football. It's going to be very interesting to see. It's only 2 games. They play Kenya, and then if they win, they play the winner of Grenada and Rwanda. Or if they lose, they play the loser. So it's 2 games. I think it's very interesting how they're doing this thing. It's just maybe like a different dynamic on international football.
yeah, it's a bit random, but
yeah, it's interesting.
It's good for the teams. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's only going to improve, the level. I think it's just a different dynamic on the pitch and different type of travel and different type of climate and everything. It's all quite interesting. Talking about the Nations League campaign this year, so they've got Bulgaria and Luxembourg. I don't think they've played either of those countries for at least 10 years, 10, 11, 12 years. So Bulgaria are quite a big name, aren't they? But they're struggling of late. I think in the last few years, they've
definitely struggled.
They've had their problems. Luxembourg, tiny country. I mean, they're punching way above their weight.
Yeah, they're a decent little team. Yeah,
as is Iceland. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be really, really difficult, and it's going to be interesting to see how they get on. I think they're going to be. It's going to be difficult games.
It's good though because it can help them develop. Yeah, and you've got to beat the best to be the best, I suppose.
It's gonna be. I think it's probably going to be a case of try and pick up the odd point away from home and try and get a couple of wins at home. I can't I can't see anything other than that to be realistic.
Yeah. Also staying within international football, the schedule for the 2026 edition of the Baltic Cup is confirmed. Semi-finals take place on June the 6th as Lithuania hosts rivals Latvia in Kaunas, repeating the 2024 semi-final, and defending champions Estonia hosts the guests of the tournament Faroe Islands in Tallinn. The final and the third place match take place on June the 9th. What does this tournament mean for the region, for it to come back, and the winners of the tournament? I know it's bragging rights, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
local bragging rights. I mean, I know obviously quite a lot of the Latvian players, and obviously coach them and know them personally, and they look forward to this. They look forward to this tournament. They want to win, and because it's a realistic thing to win as well. All the nations are around about the same level. Okay, you can say a little bit better, a little bit not so good, whatever, but all around about the same level. And we have the Baltic brothers. We're all closely aligned, and linked culturally. But on the pitch, you still want to win games of football, and it's nice to get these local bragging rights. I can't speak about the Faroe boys, but not so local for them. But definitely for Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, I think it's important for them to to win, or at least put up decent performance.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's bragging rights, and if you win, you win.
Yeah, I mean,
it's good for you.
Yeah, and again, because it's competitive, it's good because it's not like a team playing a country playing another country that's like 80 places apart in rankings. I don't know what the rankings are off the top of my head. I know Latvia around 128 or something.
Yeah,
but they're all around about the same. They're all in the same position, similar positions. So. They're competitive and interesting games.
Yeah. And to finish off, the potential of a Baltic Football League. Arguments in favour for the Baltic Football League are it could generate around €5 million per season in broadcasting. It stops the leagues falling behind Europe, and it builds competitiveness for European tournaments like the Conference League, Europa League and Champions League. And it gets more fans interested. But there's also been a mention of Finland joining, which I can't see happening. But what do you think of the Baltic League?
I think we can forget about Finland, to be honest.
That's it.
Now, this is an idea being pushed by Maxims, the head of the Latvian Virslīga, a really good guy, really knowledgeable guy, knows his stuff, has grown the Virslīga like a lot in a relatively short amount of time he's been involved with it. And he has this idea, this concept of the Baltic League, and where the top teams of each league after the midway point of the season, I think, go into a separate league and then they fight for the places in Europe. I really like the idea. I really do. I know Maxims is pushing it a lot, and I can see why. I can see the benefits. I really can. But ideas on paper are different to ideas in reality. And as I believe, I don't think the Lithuanian guys and the Estonian guys are so on board or are so driven to take part in such a project. And in this part of the world, it's quite difficult to do something different. People culturally, they just have their routines, and if you ask why do you do this, and quite often you'll hear, this is what we do, this is how it's been done before, and this is what we will just continue to do. So I know big change takes a long time here as well, and what this idea would mean really, really big change. And I personally can't see it happening for a long time, which isn't such like a devastating thing, because being quite a big part of Latvian football and understanding like the league and the teams, and I really think the league is getting better. It's going in the right direction, and I think we should just concentrate on continuing in this direction, and then in the next few years something may happen. But I mean, why Finland would want to get involved, I'm not too sure. But I think Finnish football is not struggling, but it's not as strong as it was.
No,
they have their own problems, but I don't know how they're going to fix them. They could have a Scandinavian league maybe with the Swedes and Norwegians. I don't know.
Yeah,
but that's my.
Yeah, it is a bit rogue throwing Finland in the mix, I suppose.
Yeah,
it's a bit.
I mean, it's a short flight. I mean, I'm part of a coach education course with the Finnish FA, and I'm always going to Helsinki. It's a 40-minute flight. It's nothing. It's close geographically, but I don't know. I mean, it's quite a complex situation just for these three countries with shared boundaries, shared borders.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure why get a fourth nation that's across the water involved as well. I'm not too sure, but
yeah, it's definitely one for the future, and something that could definitely 100% would. I think it would work if it were done correctly.
I think you've probably. My 3 minutes of absolute wham has been summed up with your little one sentence of I think it's one for the future, and let's go with that. It's a lot catchier.
Well, we've run out of time, and that's all for this episode. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure to follow BalticFootballNews.com for your latest football news from the region and beyond. You can also follow us on X, Instagram, YouTube and Facebook, and we'll see you next time for Pitchside, the fortnightly recap of Baltic football. Cheers.